heard the rumblings of it a couple of days ago, I thought, well, that's not going to happen, but I'll be damned it did. Yeah, I mean, look, Jim Crane is one for he's not afraid to go for it. And when you had this kind of deal and the contract you have to take and the money that was coming over from Minnesota, this obviously was Jim Crane had his fingerprints all over it. So I'm just intrigued to see how it's going to turn out, because at this point I don't think we know how it's going to turn out, because Carlos has had his obviously had some struggles in Minnesota. He's been banged up a little bit. I'm not sure what type of player we're getting, but I know he's excited. I texted with him yesterday, and I know Astro fans are excited about it too.
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. Yeah, they continue. Are you a little worried about the rotation? They didn't get anything done with the rotation. Yeah. They needed bats, obviously, but they also might have needed a starter.
Yeah, I'm wondering. I know that they were heavily in on Cease and Alcantara from the Marlins. I wonder what those respective teams are asking for in return. I'm wondering if someone like Spencer Arrighetti's name had come up in discussions, and maybe they just weren't willing to part with the likes of Arrighetti. But it leads me to believe that maybe Dana Brown and his staff have confidence that what they have currently involved in the rehab process, Arrighetti, Javier, maybe they feel pretty confident about what they've seen so far from those two players in particular. Also, don't forget about Garcia and McCullers, that they think that they have enough to cover it.
Right now we're visiting with a noted Houston Astros fan and national baseball analyst and broadcaster, Robert Flores. And this really, I liken this, Robert, to look, it's not the Justin Verlander move, clearly, but I remember the excitement as the team was kind of trailing off in 2017. It was like it had hit a peak, and then it kind of trailed down. They didn't make a move at the deadline, and of course later on after the deadline, when you could do that, they were able to pick up Verlander. But it just sent shockwaves through the city and a level of electricity. I'll be honest with you, I'm literally on the website right now purchasing tickets for me and my wife to go to Carlos's first game on Monday. I think the energy level that is created amongst the fan base is substantial. Does that matter, though, when the fan base gets excited? Does it really matter from a baseball standpoint, or do you think there is some carryover?
I think there is some carryover. Look, when Carlos Correa walks back into that clubhouse there, I believe he's going to join the team this weekend at Fenway Park. So when he walks into the clubhouse, it immediately is going to send a jolt of energy throughout that clubhouse and into those players. Jose Altuve is going to be certainly thrilled to have his former double play partner back. Jeremy Pena is going to also feel the energy as well. So I think it does matter, but it only matters so much, right? You still got to get knocks. You still got to move guys over. You still got to strike people out. You still got to win. But yeah, that should not be discounted at all, because it does matter.
Robert Flores, host MLB Central, with us here on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. Talking about the AL, there's no dominant team. Toronto's good. Detroit is really good. But with these additions and the additions of the rotation that are coming back, hopefully, it's not like the Astros. It's not like the National League with the Dodgers, who are head and shoulders, allegedly. Milwaukee has proven maybe they're not. But this AL is very winnable this year, Robert.
No doubt. Don't discount what the Seattle Mariners did. Also, I like what the Texas Rangers did, adding Merrill Kelly to their rotation. Yes, the American League is wide open. Hell, the entire league is wide open. Yes, the Dodgers were supposed to be the dominant team, and everyone had kind of handed them the title for 2025. Baseball oftentimes doesn't work that way. There's been a lot. Hell, look at the 2019 Astros. They were maybe one of the greatest teams ever assembled, and they couldn't win a home game in the World Series. Baseball is different. It's not like other sports. So I would say there's between 7 to 10, maybe a tad bit more that have a legitimate shot of winning the World Series this year. And the Astros are in that group. The Mariners are in that group. I would put the Rangers also in that group. The Red Sox, the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Brewers. It's going to be a firefight down the stretch.
It really is, and it's one of the strangest years that I can recall because it seems like every year the Yankees, this is the Yankees year, and every year it's like, oh, what's happening? This is just disappointing. I watched the other day. I was watching a game where they just couldn't, like they ended up pulling it off a couple of days ago, but they just their bullpen, they just can't close out games. So that's going to be interesting. The Astros, when you look at it, I mean, the Astros have the type of bullpen that can get hot and really make some noise. Do they have enough power without Yordan coming back and even at 75% of Yordan, do the Astros have enough power, you think, to really truly compete for a World Series, enough power in that lineup?
I'm skeptical about it right now.
Yeah.
Yordan has to come back in some form or fashion. He's always struggled with he's had this hand injury before. I'm wondering if this is something that has lingered over the last couple of years, but it has definitely been, obviously it's frustrating for him and frustrating for everyone. But you talk about the Yankees bullpen is now legit. What they did, they now have arguably the best bullpen in all of baseball. You got Bednar, you had Duvall. But to your earlier point about the Yankees, they struggle in the fundamentals. And we saw that last year in the World Series. It cost them against the Dodgers. It has cost them numerous games this year. So it's all about who's going to get hot at the right time, and then it becomes tournament baseball. The Astros have the pieces. They really need Jesus Sanchez to come over and provide an impact, and he's capable of that. He has some big-time pop from the left side, but sometimes it doesn't show up. Sometimes he's not as consistent as you would like him to be, but it's in there. And hopefully once he gets into that Astro clubhouse, starts working with the Astros coaching and training staff, maybe he becomes a more consistent hitter because they need it badly.
Robert Flores joining us, MLB Central host with us here on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. I know they went through a lull here recently, but nobody, the only two teams that have had worse injuries are Baltimore and the White Sox, and they stink. And yet the Astros have been atop of the West for most of the season now, and it's in large part because of Joe Espada. I know everybody's loving Schneider. I know everybody is loving A.J. Hinch, but nobody's done a better job than Joe Espada this year.
No, Joe Espada and his coaching staff, in fact, the entire organization, Dana Brown and his staff, deserve a ton of credit. But yes, Joe Espada right now, I believe, is the front runner for the American League Manager of the Year. He has been, and I think this goes back to last year when they were struggling. The messaging has always been the same, and I think that resonates with the players that play for him, which is, I believe in these guys. We have a good group in our clubhouse, and he's always been positive and steadying the course and maintaining this level of positivity. And I think that means something to the guys in that clubhouse. So, yeah, for me, he's the front runner for the American League Manager of the Year. And we'll have to see what happens.
Have we seen anything like what Nick Kurtz is doing?
Ooh. I mean,
we saw that up close last week.
Yeah, I mean, this dude, look, he's still very young, but he's a polished hitter, man. I mean, when you're going oppo from the left side and sending balls to the train track, and yeah, sure, some of one of his homers was off a position player, but still, he is definitely one of the brightest young stars in the game. He's an emerging superstar, and he's definitely going to win American League Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I thought Cam was in it for a while, but that's not going to happen. And Jacob, Wilson ain't getting it either. I mean, his own teammates taking it away from him. That's crazy. We'll let you go. We know you got to work. We appreciate you. This was a huge day for the Astros, and just for the city to have Carlos back. And we're looking forward to now seeing what he can do. Hopefully he'll be back to the Carlos Correa that we knew and loved back in the day. Robert, thank you so much.
Very excited.
Can't wait to have you back on again.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.